Welcome. Welcome. Today we are going to be talking about the midlife brain. What's normal, what's not, why it's not all that bad that your brain is changing, and some very simple things you can do to improve your brain health, but also things to pay attention to that are not good. So welcome. My name is Angela Warburton. I am an Eastern medicine practitioner with over 25 years of experience in the clinic. I have a background in pre-med, Western nutrition, dietetics, applied mindfulness, in addition to my Eastern medicine, which is acupuncture, herbal medicine, lifestyle medicine, nutrition therapy. And so I pull all these different holistic, time-tested modalities together to help you from my time in the clinic. But I am also a midlife woman. I have gone through menopause myself. I understand the journey firsthand. I also know the messaging out there about menopause is not helpful, not healthy, and really depressing. So my goal here is to help you as a perimenopause or menopausal woman understand what your body's saying and blending the science, the soul, the time-tested wisdom to invite all of you to the table and give you really practical tools to understand what your body's saying. And then let's just get a little bit more real about what midlife and menopause is, because it is not a disease. It is something that is normal and that every woman who menstruates is going to go through if she lives to be a certain age. And so I'm really here to help you give really practical tips to help you transform and ideally have a little more joy at this time of life, because it's a very powerful time of your life and there's a lot of amazing stuff that happens. You want to feel good during it. So that's what I'm here to help with. So today I'm going to talk about the brain changes, because damn, it can be a little bit disconcerting when we're used to operating in a certain way, what we can remember, multitasking, being out in the world, and then all of a sudden our brain starts to change and it can be scary. And so let's talk a little bit about what's happening. So midlife is a transition. I call it the portal of menopause, and it's a natural stage of life, much like birth is. You go from being in the uterus in the belly to birthing to being a person out in the world. Then we go through childhood, we go through puberty, which is a shift in hormones, and that's really going to make us be an adult that can procreate. So for women, our body is flooded with estrogen. This makes us, and estrogen, progesterone, we have these cycles so that we are going to build up a lining. It's going to be possibly, it's receptive. We get, if a sperm comes in and it fertilizes an egg, we can have a child. And then for men, they get flooded with testosterone. And so there's a point when the body says, it's a waste of my energy. We're programmed to live to be 100 years. And so the body's like, I'm going to stop losing blood every month. But now this isn't worth the energy, the resources that it takes. So it stops losing blood. And we say it goes, the blood in Eastern medicine goes from the uterus back up to the heart. And it's more about using our wisdom, our experience to help to express ourselves in a different way, birth something different. It's not about birthing babies anymore, but it's birthing something that is going to utilize our unique skills, your unique skills as a woman, all your experience. And then there's something else that comes in this third stage, the wise woman years. Beautiful. It's amazing. We don't have a really good story about it. But so so what happens is where our body was flooded with estrogen, now we go back to more of a flat line and a neutral. This is normal. So like we had a neutral nor flat line when we were kids, we get flooded, we have our fertile years, and then we go back. So there are going to be changes. So when the estrogen like floods the brain, when we have all that estrogen in our system, if you think the brain has two hemispheres, and I'm going to do this really sort of quick, and it's just going to give you the general outline. So I'm sure there are people that will, go more into the brain science, but stay with me. So we have two hemispheres in the brain. With estrogen, with a lot of estrogen for women, the two hemispheres of the brain, the thinking, the feeling, the logical, the intuitive, all those, they're more connected. And so as women, when we're menstruating in those years, we are wired to see, feel, notice everything. So you can walk into a room and probably notice that's off thing, that's person there, they need that. And we can keep a lot of things in our head at the same time. Testosterone, so for men, if you look at evolution, we haven't changed that much from thousands of years ago. Even though our culture's changed a lot, we haven't changed. So the more masculine brain that's flooded with testosterone, so even if you're using, if people get flooded from external sources with testosterone, you're going to notice a difference. So the more testosterone-filled brain is going to be more delineated. Men have more of a single focus. And so they'll walk into a room and they'll be going, chair, chair, chair. And they don't see the other stuff. And that's for a lot of women. They're like, how could you not see the sock on the floor or the thing on the floor? And it's because they're just not programmed. And when you think of hunter-gatherer times, men were to go out and they'd have to single focus on hunting. They're not going to chat with someone else and see all the other things. They're going to lose focus. So the single focus. And whereas women usually would be in a field talking amongst themselves, watching, where are the kids? Where's my friend? Or is there an animal there? There's a different kind of need for how our brain so evolved. We can talk about that some other time, but just as a general feel. So what happens when you have this brain for women that was very integrated, and all of a sudden when we start to lose estrogen, it becomes a little more delineated. So what women often notice is that they can't hold as much in their head. They start losing things. They can't multitask the same way. They get overwhelmed maybe when they try to do too many things. This is normal as the estrogen starts to decrease. And so we say in menopause, we start to, because it's like a portal, and we start to shed the stuff that is wasting our energy. So our periods take a lot of energy. We're not going to do that anymore. Relationships that need an up level, things that we're doing when we're saying yes, but we really mean no, the cost is really high. We're going to feel it a lot more. So we start to shed and say, I'm not interested in that anymore. That's not actually what I want to do with my time and my life force. And then what happens is we get a little more single focused. We become a little more like that masculine brain where we have a little more delineation. Interesting thing is men decrease testosterone, they are not so delineated and so separate. They become a little more integrated. That's why often you see men, they become a little more sentimental, a little more emotional as they age. So they also have changing hormones. So some of this is normal. So what can be helpful for women if they stop trying to hold so many things? It's like having way too many browsers open in your computer. When you can shut down some of your open browsers and just focus on one thing at a time, you'll probably notice that you're very sharp, you can do things very well, and your body's going to feel a lot better. So that some of that is normal. So you want to work with your brain as it's changing. Now, dementia, Alzheimer's, there's things we want to be aware of. And certainly if you have a family history of it, you want to look at that. I'm not going to get into all the things around that you can do to prevent. I'll talk about some things. And so knowing that, things that we're going to talk about today will actually be helpful all around for keeping your brain healthy. And also knowing that some of this is normal. So with Eastern medicine, we look at lifestyle medicine as being number one. We call the free therapies. So our emotional landscape, our relationships, foods that we eat, movement, exercise, stress reduction, sleep. Across the board, we know these are the things that are going to make a huge impact. There are pharmaceuticals for some things, but any kind of, even with herbs, for me, they are a temporary help for something if we need it. They are not the answer. Any sort of thing that is only going to focus on an external supplement or pharmaceutical or herb or anything without looking at the whole picture of these free therapies is missing the point, because it's the things that we do every day that are going to make a huge difference. So when I often equate menopause to like a bucket. We want to look at where the leaks are in the bucket, what's leaking our energy, and we're going to plug those leaks. And then we want to be dropping into the bucket. All these little things that we do every day, drop by drop by drop, will eventually fill up the bucket, and we come from a place of overflow. That's where health comes. That's vitality. That's longevity. That's good mental health, and an absence of disease. So health is not just this precarious balance. Health is about vitality, and it's more than just not having disease. It's about feeling good and feeling like you have vitality right to the end of your days. And so you can be vibrant. I've treated so many 85 and 90-year-olds that hop up on my table and have a love for life. And so things are going to change, but you can be healthy right through. So let's talk about what you can do. So these free therapies, first and foremost, exercise. Exercise is really important. It's really important. There's cardiovascular aerobic exercise, strengthening, really important as you age, and flexibility. So you want to make sure that you're doing some version of that, but it's what's right for you. There isn't one right answer. And we get so many people telling us this is the thing. And if you've got to do strength training in this way, or you have to do yoga in this way. And so there's not one answer. First of all, you should like it. That's really nice. If it's dreading, because it worked for someone else, but you hate it, that's probably not the right thing for you. You can move in so many ways. I'm like a big fan of the at-home dance party. I know one woman lost 60 pounds dancing in her living room. So put on a, 3-song dance party, and there you go, 15 minutes of movement. Break up your day doing that. You can walk, you can do hiking, you can run, you can do cycling. There's so many different ways of things that you can do, but it's important that you do move, and you're going to watch your energy as you go through your days. Sometimes you're going to have more energy and sometimes not. We're not meant to do the same thing all the time, and we're not meant to do the same thing throughout our life. So really honoring that. One thing I will say is really important for women as they age is the strength training. There was a really interesting study that showed that strength in your leg muscles had a direct relationship to preventing dementia. So that's really big. And also walking on uneven surfaces. So if you walk on a trail with knotted roots from a tree and stuff, that is actually really helpful for your brain. It works on proprioception and the right and left hemispheres of the brain. So there's some cool studies that are coming out of that. So movement, try to work on uneven surfaces. That also keeps your all the little muscles working in your legs for stability, which is also really important as we age. So move it. Number 2, food. Always food, right? Food is the only way that we build our body up, the only way that we build our tissues, everything. The only way we survive is through the food that we eat and the air that we breathe. And so having good quality food is number 1. So it's first and foremost, what are you putting in your body? So whole foods that are free from toxins, pesticides, as much as you can. If you're getting commercially grown food, wash it. So a little bit of vinegar and water, let it soak. That's one thing that you can do. You can also, oh my God, that was in my head. It's funny, I'm doing brain health and that thought just went right out, but whole foods, anyways, it'll come back. So diversity in your foods as well. So as close to the ground as you can get it, organic if you can, making sure it's good food source. Diversity is going to make sure that you have a bunch of different, your gut biome is actually something that's really important. So the good bacteria in your gut needs to be fed by a variety of foods. So making sure you eat a rainbow, eat diversity as much as you can through your week, and make sure your gut is healthy. If you feel run down, bloated, tired after you eat, if you get congested after you eat, your gut is not absorbing as well as it could. So really important, simple things you can do: cook your food. I see so many people eating salads or having smoothies first thing in the morning, getting bloated or having looser bowels or just not able to digest. And they think, well, food is good for me. But when you put in raw food, your body has to cook it up. Very Chinese medicine thing, has to heat it up, break it down into a soupy medium so it can go into your small intestine and be absorbed. If you're getting bloated, if you're notice that you're not digesting, just cook your food, warm food. That's going to help you absorb a lot more. The other thing really important, make sure your liver is healthy. So your liver is it's a detox organ in Eastern medicine. We say the liver system is responsible for so many things, certainly around period regularity. It's the organ that shows stress the most. So if you're irritable, if you're intolerant, if you're testy, if you get PMS, or you're noticing you're really, really irritable with the people that you love, your liver might need some love. So green foods, cutting toxins, that's really helpful. I did another video on loving your liver, so you can check that out. But clean, green, diverse, whole foods that you can digest. Do the best you can with that. You also want to cut out foods that are going to cause problems. So any kind of chemically laden food, artificial flavors and colors, processed food. So those things that are in the middle aisles of your grocery store, you kind of want to walk around as much as you can. There was some research too that microwave popcorn, some chemical that they use in there has a direct relationship to dementia or Alzheimer's. So those things have a real impact, particularly if they're done over time. So you want to avoid processed foods. What else do you want to do? You want to, I'm not going to talk too much about supplements. You want to work with a practitioner. It's just like food, exercise. You want it customized to your body as best you can. This is where Eastern medicine is magic, because it's really food not only is nutritional value, but we look at food as having properties. So some foods are naturally warming and some are naturally cooling. So you match it to the person. So someone who's hot all the time or cold all the time, if they're eating food that's also cold, raw, they're going to throw their body off of balance. They eat warm cooked foods, things like ginger or cardamom or cinnamon are naturally warming. They're going to bring balance back. If you're really hot all the time and you're eating those foods, coffee, alcohol, cinnamon, all that, it's going to throw your body more off of balance. So really it's about not listening to the outside world saying, oh, only this thing, or this is the magic pill. It's like, how does that match your body? So really listening. But there are some great supplements that you can use working with a practitioner. Omega-3 is really, really important for overall balance, as are, well, just the diversity, what we talked about. The other thing to watch is sleep. And I know this is a huge thing for women. It is, I'm going to be doing some more videos on that coming up. Lack of sleep just sucks the joy out of life. It makes things really hard to do, hard to function in the world and show up in the way that we want to. So I'm going to be doing some more talks on that, but sleep hygiene. One of the things I see in the clinic so much, women are so stretched for time, particularly if you're a mom or you have so many different, you're working, you're managing a lot, you have a household. Even if you don't have kids, people are often craving time for themselves. And so what I see a lot is people staying up later just to get some time to themselves. And what happens is when we stay up past when we're tired, a lot of women I might find they get tired around 8:30 or 9, but they're like too early to go to bed, or I don't want to go to bed yet. I want that time. And so when you stay up, your body will say, well, I don't have the energy for that. I guess I'll just produce a little bit more. So it'll stimulate the adrenal glands to produce a little more cortisol or adrenaline. And then you get that second wind. And then what happens often is it's hard to go back to sleep because cortisol, the hormone that wakes us up in the morning, is now active at nighttime when you want the melatonin to be, that sleep hormones to be in. So really, it doesn't have to be every night, but I'd say a couple of nights for sure a week. If you're tired at 8:30 and you can just go to bed with a paper book or something and see when you naturally want to fall asleep and let yourself fall asleep early. Make sure you don't have any of the overhead lights on. Watch the blue screens. We all have heard this, but it matters. And try not to eat too late at night because that's going to congest your liver and you'll sleep a little bit better. But sleep hygiene, I'll be doing some more stuff on that. But that really helps because at night, when we sleep, that's when we detoxify. That's when cells repair. That's when our brain cleans up a lot of the junk from the day. It just, it will kind of clean house at night. So there you go. Those are some things you can do. Brain health changes are normal. If you're not remembering the way you were, it's not bad. It's something different is called called forth at this stage of life. Notice what needs to go. Notice the things that are dragging your energy down. Pay attention to them. Courageous conversations, up-leveling relationships, letting things go, say no when you want to say no instead of saying yes and then resenting it or regretting it later. All these little things. And then allow yourself single focus. Stop trying to do too much at once, just narrow it down. And that's going to work in alignment with the changes that are happening at midlife. So I hope you like this. I hope it was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please, you can hit like below if you want more information like this, holistic information for midlife women, hit subscribe, because I am doing weekly little nuggets, little pieces of information for you. And if you know another woman that would benefit from this, please share it with her. I am here to help women navigate this powerful stage of life with more ease, with more grace, with more power. Because when you understand what's happening and you have the tools to tend to it, you'll feel better. And we need you in all your power, you feeling great at this stage of life because you're born to do something magnificent. And midlife is just pushing you through to this stage where you get to express yourself fully in the way you were born to. So thank you for being here. It is my honor and pleasure, and I will see you next time.